Hey, welcome back. This is episode 90. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? I wish everyone well, both in terms of your health and in terms of your business. Let me know how's everything it's going. It has certainly been a great day for me, and really, I just want to be able to be here to share with you what's going on, and this is really great. I mean, if this is the first time you are joining us, well, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Melvin Live Show, and on this show itself, what I talked about it's the whole idea of how I went from a one-person business to a from a one person trading time for money to building a one person 1 million and all digital business itself. Now, for my, you know, for a living, what I do is I essentially consult for schools and organization in the area of strategic planning, and as well as I help brands strategize their content strategy and ads strategy for social media. I've done this for brands like Steinway and Sons, for example. And more recently, what I've been doing is I've been diving deep into the realm of using a live stream. And so, I firmly believe that live stream is definitely the way to go. And what I like to do is to be able to leverage live stream like never before. And the whole purpose of leveraging live stream essentially is that so that I could be able to use it as a way to connect with people and to be able to help them find find out how they could, together with me, build this one person 1 million or digital business itself. So today is episode 90, and I mean 90 days in a row. That's quite a feat, if you ask me, right? Not just a pat on my back, but really for someone to do live streaming 90 days in a row and constantly thinking about how to improve, how you can become better. And the whole works of it, I think it deserves some kind of a recognition of sorts. Well, if nobody's going to give the recognition to me, I'm going to give it to myself. And the reason why I'm doing so is because I firmly believe that in this 90 days or so, I have grown tremendously, and I have also looked at how I'm able to help other people grow extensively as well. Right. And so that being said, I would like to share with you, what I have learned over the last, um, let me see, over the last 90 episodes itself. Well, as you can see, it's nothing is still perfect. It's still not perfect. I'm still trying to find the right volume, the right lighting, the right ambience and everything. But I think I kind of got it to a level where I am pretty proud of. And this is something that I feel that, I could share with many of you out here. And so the few things that I want to talk about here today, essentially, the main topic here is really the three things that I've learned from doing live streaming for the past 90 days, right? And so, number one, let's talk about number one. So, number one that I've learned about live streaming on a daily basis is the following: that you need to plan, right? And it sounds pretty obvious, but unless you are already someone who is trained in terms of in terms of going out there and doing a live show, I mean, you're someone who is so comfortable, confident, and know exactly what to say at any point in time, then well and good. But for the rest of us, we all need to plan. And by planning, I mean it's really comes down to knowing what to say, how to present it, and also how to be able to engage with the audience itself. And so I wouldn't profess that at this point in time I have reached that level yet, but I'm still learning. And 90 episodes in, I think it's something that I could, come up here and share with you. So number one is really to plan. Now, how exactly would you plan? So here's where I can give you some useful tips. So first and foremost, you need to have a format, or you need to have a structure. And so when you think about the structure itself, what you really like to think about is the ability to be able to say that, well, this is how I'm going to be presenting my content. And when we talk about presenting the content, essentially is how you are going to be able to present your content in such a way that that it makes sense, and that it kind of sits well with your audience itself. So first and foremost, you must have a structure, right? So that structure would kind of give you that framework, and then for each episode itself, you can then follow that framework. So that's one part of planning. The other part of planning is you need to have a series of topics that you would want to talk about. You do not have to talk about the same thing every day, because otherwise it can be really, really boring. So someday you can talk about gear, someday you can talk about strategy, someday you can talk about mindset. So for me, I've drilled it down to some days I'll be talking about videos, some days I'll be talking about creating online courses, some days I will be talking about economics of business, some days I'll be talking about systems, and some days I will just be talking about how you build a personal brand. And so with that itself, really it's to be able to find a way to think about what are the range of topics that you're going to be talking about. And obviously, these topics ought to be the one that you care about, and also the ones that your audience would care about. All right. So that is another part of planning. Now, also the other part with planning itself, I think that it's really, really important is for you to be able to know what you want to show during the show. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes I have experimented with just having a talking head, or sometimes it may be a combination of a talking head as well as a some B rolls or some footage that was able to kind of demonstrate or reinforce the point that I want to get across. And so I think that is really, really crucial. And to be able to do that in a live streaming itself, not many people can do that. And so if you are able to do something like that, you will be different. And so, plan to be different, and plan to be able to present your message in such a way that it sits well, it resonates with your audience. So that's clearly the first part of planning. Now that then we move on to the second part. The second thing that I've learned from live streaming over 90 days is really the idea that you need some kind of a promotion. Now, unless you are already some kind of a celebrity, then obviously this is not going to be necessary. But if you're that, like you and I, we will have to build up that audience over time. And to be frankly honest, for anyone like you and I, unless we have something that is really, really interesting, otherwise it's going to be quite difficult for someone to want to follow you on a consistent basis, right? I know that there are some folks who follow me on a consistent basis. One person that follows me consistently is my mom. Hi, mom. Um, and I've got a few friends who follow me on a consistent basis because they just love me, they want to support me, and they just want to see, what I'm talking about and how I goof out. And, sometimes we just have a good laugh at that. And so you really need to promote your show. If you're gonna be doing a live stream, you can't like impulse like, well, I'm not sure what to do now. Maybe I'll do a live stream. It's just not gonna happen, and it's not going to be something that people are will know, right? I mean, like I said, unless you're some kind of celebrity. So how do you promote? Well, I find that the best way to actually promote is to be able to share it on my social media prior to the live streaming itself. And I think that has been tremendously helpful because with that itself, I'm able to share what I've been doing with my audience, and at the same time, I'm also able to kind of anticipate what kind of things that they are looking at, for example, right? And so those are some of the things that I think really needs to be worked on. So the promotion part is definitely crucial. Kind of give people an idea of what to expect. At the same time, you are also able to get the word out itself. Okay, so that is promotion. And now the third P that I have thought of. The third P essentially is about your production or your presentation. And so when you think about production itself, I think there are a few things that you need to be taking note of. Like for example, oh my God, you can see my microphone in the frame. Oh man. Okay. So for example, you want to have a good audio system. You want to have excellent lighting. I'm still figuring it out what's the best way to do the lighting and all. You want to have a way to frame your video so that it looks nice. It kind of gives people a view of the background itself. I'm still working on it, so by no means is this perfect, but hey, I'm pretty proud of what I've got here right now because if you look at some of the older live stream itself, it's really crappy, and yeah, although yeah, you can say that at the end of the day, it's all about the content. Yes, I agree, and I completely stand by that. But at the same time, it doesn't hurt if your production looks good. So that's what I want to say. Now, the other thing that I feel that you should really pay attention to is, of course, the camera that you use. Now, of course, for most of us, you could live stream right off the bat with the webcam in on your computer, right? And I think that that will do. But if you really want to up the game, I feel that you really should at least get an independent webcam, and there are tons of them on the market itself, very inexpensive, and it does a great job at that, right? But if you want something that really, really dramatically change the game for you, then definitely you want to invest in a camera. So any DSLR or mirrorless camera, it's going to be good. What it does is that it gives you that kind of a blurry background, and it's kind of nice and all that. So that's something that you definitely want to consider, right? And so those are some of the things that you really want to pay attention to when you are doing live streaming. In addition to that, for example, for me, I have been investing quite a bit, and so I got myself a A10 Live A10 Mini by Black Magic Design, and so that has allowed me to do some of the fancy stuff. Although I am still experimenting with it, yes, yes, I know there's still so much more that I could do. I'm still experimenting with it, but yeah, it is what it is, right? And so those are the three P's. So once again, planning, promotion, and the third one is presentation. And if I may give you a bonus one, the fourth P. The fourth P I think would be around the area of personality. And what I mean by personality here essentially is that you want to be able to create um, a or rather you want to be able to let your personality shine through. And what I mean by that really is that you want to be able to allow people to know who you really are, right? I mean, anyone can present a topic, but if you're able to bring out your personality, if you're able to bring out your the way that you do things, right? What's unique about you? What's fun about you? What's interesting about you? I mean, it doesn't always have to be fun. It can be the serious person. It can be that person who is just snarky, whatever, right? But you have to have some kind of a personality. What is that personality? Do not afraid to hide that personality itself, because yes, some people will love you because of your personality, and some people will hate you, but that's fine, because not everyone is going to love you, and not everyone is going to be a follower. And so you just have to make sure that, oops, oh my god, just broke. Yeah, anyways, I'll need to fix that later. So yeah, so this is what happened when you do live. Yeah, so those are some of the things that you really need to pay attention to. uh, the planning, the the planning, the promotion, the presentation, and also the personality. Well, once again, this is the Melvin Live Show, and thank you for watching. And if you really want to keep, you want to get notified whenever I go live, make sure you subscribe to my channel, like my Facebook page. And until we meet again, you have a good one. Bye bye.